I was sitting at the bottom stairs. I went, "Oh, hi," like this, and she just went, "Hi." I thought, "Oh, wow, she's changed her mind."
Hi everyone, if you're new here, welcome to my channel, and if you watched my previous video, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it, and welcome back. So as promised for my previous video, I am here with my husband Mitch, and he's joining me today for our story time where we'll be sharing how we met, the first date, and how I met Mitch's mom. Sorry guys, I'm quite nervous. I don't know about you. Are you nervous?
No, pretty nervous. I'm going to tell her how mean you are to me and stuff.
I'm not mean. But anyways, guys, before we get into it, we thought we'd start with an icebreaker. Just to, loosen things up and so that you can get to know Mitch as well a little bit. He hasn't seen these questions, so it will be a complete surprise. Nothing special, just a quick one, yeah? You ready?
What's coming.
You just have to point. Point to the person you think it refers to or who's most likely to do this.
Okay,
thing, yeah?
right, okay,
cool.
right.
So who's more likely to lose their keys or phone?
Well, obviously me.
Obviously him. Yeah. We've got so many stories to tell, but let's move on. Who's more likely to forget an anniversary or special date? I think it's me. Let's not cheat. It's me.
It's kind of a draw, that one. Okay.
I think it's
Should
me.
we call that one a draw?
It's me, Bob, because I always forget.
I remember dates.
You're quite good with dates.
Yeah, I remember.
Definitely.
Dates and
definitely, yeah. And who's more likely to start a conversation with strangers?
Me.
Yeah. So he's the extrovert in the relationship. I am such an introvert, and yeah, let's leave it there. Hey. So yeah, that was fun. That was just a little icebreaker so that you can just get to know us a bit better. But let's get straight into the video. I will be sharing how we first met. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So my husband, disclaimer, he is not into social media. He's not on YouTube. He only watches highlights when it comes to like boxing or rugby. Yeah. Otherwise, he's not familiar with these sort of videos and stuff. So yeah.
No, I'm a technophobe.
No pressure. You'll be just fine. So I thought I'll start.
Old man now.
No, he's not old. I'll start this part of the video just to get things going, and then you can just follow my lead. Is that fair?
Okay.
Okay, cool. So, how did we meet? I think with this one, where did we meet? How did we meet? I don't know about Mitch, but speak for myself. It's either I tell people part 1 or part 2. I never really get into the details. So today we'll be diving into it.
It's a long story.
It's a long one, yeah. So part 1, I decided to join a dating app, right? Because my circle at that time, it was like people were just online dating and, exploring what's out there and stuff. And I wasn't really used to it. So I was like, let me put myself out there. Let's see what's out there because, let me just give it a go, and experience this other side of things. It could be fun. I don't know what's going to happen or what the outcome would be. So I decided to do my online dating. I set up my account. Was I active on it? Barely. I was a bit skeptical because what I was looking for, I thought people on there weren't serious or anything. So I was not active or engaging that much and stuff. So I decided to delete the dating app, right? But on the day I decided to delete the dating app, that's when we matched, right? And when we matched, we didn't communicate. We didn't, nothing like that. So I deleted the app and whatever, I just left it and I just moved on my life. And then one day I was living on campus, so I was coming from my lecture. And there was this pub. I can't remember the name of it.
Uni bar, isn't it?
Yeah, the Uni bar. That's the name of the pub.
Did you forget that?
Yeah, I know. I was always in the pub.
Yeah.
So the Uni bar, so I go there. I'm coming from my lecture, and I decided to go because I used to love the chicken tenders there. So I walk in. It's quite empty. Like I'm just walking. Let me just pass through, get something to eat, and then I'll go to my flat afterwards. And then I walk in, and who do I see at the bar with his friend? It was Mitch, right? We made eye contact, and I think the part one of the story broke the ice for us, so it was easy to just make conversation and just say hi, hi. So he asked for my number, and then I went back home. I didn't expect much, to be fair, and then he messaged me, and then we began talking. And when we started chatting, you did not wait. You asked me out for a date. You remember? How long did it take? Like 3 days?
Yeah, I think so. We really sort of met in person, I guess. So,
yeah. And then, do you want to tell people how our first date went then?
Yeah, so I mean, after we first sort of stumbled into each other, I guess, I mean, I was just sort of old time's sake. I was having a drink with my friend in the uni bar, because I went to UEA very briefly when I was 18, and that didn't work out, but I went to uni somewhere else afterwards. But it was like a trip down memory lane while I was going into Norwich afterwards. Then I bumped into VongaiR, and we had this first date. So I said, I'll come and pick you up. I think it was like next week or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that was the week after, I think.
Was it the week after? Okay.
It was a Friday, as I recall.
See, I can't remember dates, guys.
Yeah, I can actually remember the date now. I've actually just thought.
Yeah.
So it was July 2017.
Okay.
And 6th, 7th, sorry. So yeah, I can't remember. I went and picked you up, because you were actually living on campus. You had your house, and I sort of pulled up the stairs, and I saw VongaiR, and I was sitting at the bottom stairs. I went, oh, hi, like this, and she just went, hi. I thought, oh, she's changed her mind.
I mean, well, for me, my perspective anyways, I think I was just nervous, like, oh wow, this is finally happening. We're finally going out on a date after all these situations and scenarios we've been in. It's finally happening. So I think it was the nerves, maybe. That's why I had the hi face, but
hi.
I don't remember. I don't recall. But otherwise, my impression when you came to pick me up to go for the date, you looked very smart, ready for a date, definitely. We thought you had like a fresh haircut,
I wasn't as grey then either, was I?
You're not that great, but yeah.
I was clinging on to my 20s for dear life. I was just about to turn 30 when we met.
Yeah. So what were you focusing on at that time?
I think like VongaiR's already alluded to. I don't really do social media. I never really have. I did have Facebook back in the day, and I have LinkedIn now, sort of thing. It's more of a work thing. I really didn't have any expectations. It's not something I enjoyed either. I didn't particularly like that sort of date, and I was like, should I give it a go? Okay. And I guess the rest is history in that respect, isn't it? But
yeah, I think for me, in like during that time, was I looking for anything serious? Yes. Like, I didn't want to waste time. I was quite intentional when I decided, like, the next person I date, I'm quite intentional. And
definitely.
I was also not actively looking for something serious, because I wanted to finish my master's during that time. So I think that's what I was focusing on in life. And you were focusing on gym and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I just finished my own master's. I did alongside my job. I was working in Bury St Edmunds at the time, so I was like,
you were driving.
I think I was spending 2.5 hours a day in the car, and I was at the gym, so I was out the house with my job and travelling around Essex and Cambridge. It was just being out the house, and gym was just my focus, really.
So what made you decide to take me serious?
Well,
why me?
Well, I do know, actually. I was only joking. No, I do know. I mean, I think honestly, what made me serious is you're very family orientated. You're Christian as well, which is actually rare to find now. Someone who's not cultural Christian but actually Christian.
Yeah.
That was a big plus for me.
Things get serious, and then you asked me to meet your mom. Now, guys, he asked me to meet his mom. This was a culture shock for me, and I was so nervous, and I was asking him, what do I wear? do I wear makeup? When I show up, what do I do? What do I bring? Because it's not something you do in our culture or in my culture.
I was like, oh, kid, I'm from the
So-
West Midlands. Wear whatever, be yourself, man. It's all good.
Yeah, so he told me to just calm down, just relax, just be yourself, wear whatever you're comfortable in. And he didn't understand why I was so scared and nervous, because you do not, you don't just meet anyone's mom, and you have to, first impressions really matter.
In any culture, you don't just introduce anyone to your mom.
Yeah.
But in your culture, it is a different. I now know that, and I really, I'm a big appreciator of these culture. That's, I really respect and enjoy that sort of thing. But I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
Whereas, but in any culture, you don't just introduce anyone you're not serious about to your mum. I don't think.
Well,
What's
I think.
the point? Where does it get you?
No, I know, but it's different though, because my culture is stricter. If we're comparing our two cultures, with my culture, you just don't bring anyone or introduce anyone to your parents, right? Anyways, I won't really get into how I met your mom and the impressions, first impressions, etc. We'll make a separate video on that, so stay tuned. But then after I met your mom, right? I also met your dad, didn't I?
Yeah, you met him briefly, didn't you?
Briefly.
That was like the November, wasn't it?
So I met your dad as well, right?
Yeah.
So you see how I have met your parents,
Yeah.
right? I met his parents, and he hadn't met my parents. He wasn't speaking to anyone from my side of the family, right? And then we decided to go on holiday, and we're deciding, what country do we go to? Should we go on holiday? And then I was thinking, I'm going to Zimbabwe in December for my sister's wedding. Do you want to go to Zim with me? Should we go to Zimbabwe for holiday? Because that would have been his first time in Africa, first time in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
So we're like, why don't we do it? And in my mind, I was feeling guilty as well. I was like, he's taking me so serious. By the way, I was taking him so serious as well. But I hadn't. But yeah, that's okay. He hadn't met anyone from my side, or and I thought, what can I do to make him feel secure and reassured, even though he didn't need it at all. I think it was more like my guilt, right? And one day he came to visit me, and I was just sitting there. I was just thinking, okay, I have met your parents. We're traveling. We're going to Zimbabwe, my home country. You're making all these efforts and sacrifices. What can I do in return? And I just called my dad. Right? Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
I picked up the phone. I called my African dad, and I said, "Dad, I'm coming with my."
Well, bearing in mind, I can speak a little bit. I can speak Shona a little bit. I understand enough. I took the time to learn. I really enjoy speaking Shona. It's absolutely the most beautiful language in the world, without question.
Yeah.
However, at the time, a couple of months in, I didn't really speak a word of it.
You didn't understand.
And I heard you speaking to your dad, like you said, and I just heard my name, and I sort of went.
Yeah. So
wow.
I picked up the phone, right? So I said, "Dad, I'm planning to come to Zimbabwe with my boyfriend." And there was a moment of silence. And he's like, "Oh, your friend? You're bringing your friend?" I was like, "Yes, my boyfriend. I'm bringing my boyfriend." And he's like, "Okay, so what's his name?" I said, "His name is Mitch." And the 2 questions he asked were, "Is he Christian? And are you happy?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yes to both." Tick, tick. So that, I think, for me, how did you feel when I spoke to my dad?
This is I think we were serious. It was like a couple months in, but we were definitely serious. I mean, but I think what your dad asked, I think, really is it's an amazing thing, really. Because I'm sure I'd have more questions, to be frank, if my daughter was that far away, and I'd have a lot more with 2 questions. That really does say the character of these dad is just,
so
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, thank you. So fast forward, we went on holiday. We're not going to get into it again because that'll be a separate video where we talk about meeting the parents and our first trip to Zimbabwe, Africa. And stay tuned for that one. So back to the story. When we got back from holiday, he came back first, right? Do you remember? He came for Christmas, and I had to stay behind for my sister's wedding.
Oh yeah, I left you at Harare Airport, didn't I?
Yes. So I stayed behind, but then soon after the wedding, I came so that we could spend Christmas together with your family. It was amazing as well with how welcoming they were and how open they were, because I wouldn't just want to spend Christmas with anyone really. So it was quite special. I had to come and make the effort. So I came, and soon after the amazing Christmas, I had to move to Manchester.
Yeah.
And then we actually did long distance for a bit in our relationship. And I would say I was really nervous because obviously you don't really hear good things about long distance relationships. Well, it's mainly that they're quite difficult, I guess. And how did you feel? Were you nervous?
Well, I don't remember it ever being difficult or anything like that. I mean,
but how did you feel knowing that I was going to move away?
Fine. I don't ever remember being a problem. I was totally fine about it. You know, you'll get the final chapter of your studies done, and then you'll, you know, I don't know. I mean, we'll probably get married after that or something like that, I suppose.
Well, I didn't know that part, so that was in his head.
Oh right, okay.
which is lovely. So for me, we moved. Well, I moved to Manchester, and then we started doing long distance.
Oh, you were right in the centre of Manchester. M1 was the postcode,
yes,
wasn't it?
I was right in the middle of Manchester,
Concrete
which I
jungle.
didn't really enjoy. But I think it strengthened our relationship because we didn't have any trust issues. It really strengthened our communication skills, I think. I knew what he was up to, he knew what I was up to. So I think it really gave us a good foundation before proceeding to the next step. Well, where he was already thinking, oh, I'm going to marry this girl, I guess, whatever. So I think that was a good challenge, and it wasn't really difficult at all because we shared the same morals, same values. We had good intentions. We knew what we wanted. We're on the same page. I didn't have any baggage. You didn't have any baggage.
No. That's the point. And just to add one thing in as well is you were 23 at that point. I was 30. So perhaps maturity levels between men and women. So I sometimes like to joke. I said, if you'd have met me when you were 22, I'm not sure you'd have liked me very much.
No.
I'm just kidding. But
So things were easy, really. No baggage, no red flags. It was just smooth. And no challenges, even though we were nervous I was nervous for the long distance. And so that's our story on how we met, our first date, how I met his mom. And I hope that you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for the next video where we talk about our holiday and meeting the parents.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Awesome.
So, thank you so much for staying with us, and thanks, Mitch, for joining me.
All right, no worries.
Good. All right, thanks, everyone.
Cheers, thank you.
Bye. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I can't speak.